Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Winterhaven Woods, a really beautiful, elegant game that's a little meaner than it looks, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. The basic idea of this game is that you're drafting cards. There's this big deck of cards that you're drafting, and you're creating little woods. So you have these little woods areas that you create using some of these cards, and you put animals. Also cards that you're drafting, you put animals in those woods. And if you can't fit animals in the woods, or they're not allowed to go there based on various restrictions, they have to go out in your meadow. And when they're in the meadow, they are vulnerable to be stolen or hunted. And even some of the things in your woods are vulnerable to be stolen as well, because there's a lot of direct player interaction in this game through stealing and hunting. Now, it's not necessary for you to do that. You have the choice if you have a card that would say, so for example, the fox. The fox says, steal one critter from any menu. If you have this card, you don't have to play it. You could just discard it. But if you want to play it, this is where my favorite mechanism comes in, because I am typically not one in games where I want to hurt what an opponent has been building, or damage or take away from what an opponent has been building. And in this game, the designer acknowledges that. They acknowledge that people may not want to do that, and they give you that choice. You can discard, but if you decide to steal, you actually lose points. So at the end of the game, here's the end game scoring chart here. There's stealing penalties. So there's a disincentive to steal. So if you've stolen 0 to 1 cards, you lose 0 points. There isn't a big disincentive to do that. But if you've stolen 2 cards, you'll lose 1 point. If you steal all the way up to 5 cards, you'll lose 6 total points. And if you steal more than 5 cards, so 6 or higher, for every card that you've stolen, you'll lose 2 points. And that's a big penalty. So there's a big, I like that there's a threshold there where it gets really bad for you to continue stealing. So there is like a stealing strategy, but you don't want to go over that fifth card. But also the game is actively saying, hey, you can steal if you want to. We put that in the game, but there are going to be negative consequences at the end of the game if you choose to do that, which is kind of a really interesting balance there. Do you want to steal this thing that can be worth more points for you now, but hurt your opponent and thus also hurt you later in the game? So I like that. I like that there's a stealing disincentive in this game in Winterhaven Woods. I think that's a nice addition to it. That is my favorite mechanism. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Winterhaven Woods if you've played it, or if you can think of another game where there is like a mean thing that you can do, but the game also actively disincentivizes that. I'd love to hear your thoughts about those games in the comments below. Thanks.